Hey everyone, BBD, and today I'm playing something a little different than the normal mid-range decks I've been playing, which is Naya Midrange, and it's different because it's just a different color combination. But uh, this deck is somewhat similar to the other mid-range decks in that it's still playing the old Thrag Tusk as kind of the center of the deck. But one of the big differences is unlike kind of the other big three mid-range decks, which are like Jund, Junk, and Bant, Naya doesn't have a second Return to Ravnica dual land, um, which basically those two are Sacred Foundry and Stomping Ground, which will be out in Gate Crash. So the mana is not quite as good, but it's still reasonably good. And the reason I'm playing Naya today is basically I want to play Bonfire. And one of the callings to playing red in this format is just Bonfire. People have kind of forgotten about the card a lot, but it's still very powerful. And this is a good shell to take advantage of it. You have a good mix of mid-range creatures to kind of put some pressure on your opponent, and then you have a lot of ramp cards to make your bonfires like very impressive. So the basic core of the deck is again going to be Huntmaster, Restoration Angel, and Thragtusk. These guys are kind of pretty ubiquitous in Standard right now, but what they do is play defense, play offense very well, and just kind of make it very difficult for an aggressive deck to beat you because of all the life gain. And they also pressure control decks pretty well. Huntmaster especially is very good against a variety of decks. Garruk Primal Hunter is extremely good in Standard right now. Decks don't really have very good ways to kill Planeswalkers for the most part, and he kind of dominates all the mid-range mirrors just by making a constant stream of beasts, and if you have like a Thragtusk in play, drawing 5 cards will put you so far ahead. Angel Serenity is a good top end for a deck like this. With Farseek, Avacyn's Pilgrims, and Borderland Rangers, we're going to draw a healthy amount of land, so it's good to have something at the top end to really take over a game. And Angel Serenity is very good at doing that, and same with Bonfire. Both these cards are going to be cast for like 7 mana or more over the course of the game, and all these like ramp spells really help out with that. O-Ring is just a very versatile piece of removal, and I like O-Ring a lot in a deck like this because you don't really know exactly what you need to answer, but there's going to be some stuff that like Bonfire can't kill. Maybe you haven't drawn an Angel Serenity to deal with. Stuff like a Tamio, for example, is something that you're going to want O-Ring for, but it's also versatile and it can hit like a creature, it can hit like a Runechanter's Pike. And like in a deck like this where your deck's pretty straightforward, it's just a lot of creatures and then some burn, it's good to have effects like this. As for the mana base, it's pretty straightforward. A lot of dual lands. We have 1 Cavern of Souls. Cavern is for Adam Prozek's Restoration Angel, Augur of Bolas deck that he top-aided SCG St. Louis with. And that deck has been picking up a lot of popularity lately, and Cavern is very good against them because they have upwards of like 10, 15 counterspells after board, and it can be impossible sometimes to resolve even a single spell. So if that deck becomes even more popular, you're going to want additional Caverns, but right now I'm just playing 1. And then I have 2 Kestic Wolf Runs, and the reason I'm playing Wolf Run over something like Gavony Township is we actually don't have a lot of guys. Like, we have a lot of creatures, but we're probably only going to have like 1 or 2 in play at a time. Without stuff like Lingering Souls, we're not really flooding the board. And Kestic Wolf Run is just a great way to close out a game. Between like Kestic Wolf Runs, the Devil's Plays, and the Bonfires, it gives the deck a bit of reach, which it can definitely be like missing in certain places. Wolf Run's also very good at pressuring like other Planeswalkers. If you have like a Thragtusk and they have a Thragtusk, you can just trample over and kill their Planeswalker anyway. So this is the main deck, and I'm going to talk a bit about the sideboard now. For the sideboard, we have a 4th Garruk Primal Hunter, which may seem like overkill, but the card is just so good in the mid-range matchups. It's just the best possible, so I definitely want as many of those as I can get. Armada Worm is something that's kind of known. None of the Nihilists that I've looked at are really playing this card, but I think that's a mistake because it's just a big beating. There are some matchups where Angel Serenity just doesn't really do it for you. Either you're playing like against like a control deck, you're not really getting any value out of it, or something like that. But Armada Worm is just like really good on a naked board, and Angel Serenity is not quite the same. So I like Armada Worm a lot for that reason, and Armada Worm is also great against the aggressive decks because it just completely shuts down the ground and also kills them very fast. Rest in Peace is pretty much for the Unburial Rights decks. There's like the 4-color Reanimator and Junk Reanimator. It's basically good in those two matchups, but I also actually like it against the blue-white Restoration Angel decks. They have like Think Twices, Snapcaster Mages, Moral and Haunt. Like they really use their graveyard a lot, so Rest in Peace kind of hurts their strategy a lot. Mizium Mortars is just kind of extra copies of Bonfire, basically. Some matchups where that's basically all you want to be doing is just, wrathing their side of the board every single turn. Mizium Mortars does that. It's also a good cheap removal spell sometimes. Lockdown Smiter is for decks that are really like packing heavy counters. It just basically dodges the counter magic, which is very important, and is a reasonable threat in that it's pretty big and hits pretty quickly. So that's the purpose of the Smiter. Zealous Conscripts are mainly for Planeswalkers. It's really powerful to like steal your opponent's Jace and finish it off with a -2, or take a Tamio and ultimate it or something like that. So Zealous Conscripts is just amazing against other Planeswalker decks. Devil's Place, similarly, you want to bring that in against decks where the game's going to go really long and you need to like, kill Planeswalkers and eventually finish them off with something. And then Sundering Growth is very good in this format. It hits like O-Rings, Detention Spheres, Intangible Virtues, Runechanter's Pikes. There's just a variety of cards that Sundering Growth is good against. And you have the ability to populate with Huntmaster and Thragtusk occasionally. So this is a sideboard, and we'll give it a shot.